Thank you. Thank you so much for being here this evening. And I want to start. This is, I just arrived yesterday. This is the first time I'm talking after 6 years of being banned from this country. So let me start by thanking first the four organizations that were supporting me for during this 6 years, and especially, of course, with ACLU as Jamil and Melissa. They did a very great job, and I want to thank them. With AAR, of course, PEN and AAUP, from the very beginning, these organizations were supporting me, and they were in touch with me saying that what is happening in this country is wrong. It's wrong in the light of the American values and our common values and our common dignity. So this is something which is for me quite important, to thank them, but also to thank all the people who were in touch with me from the States and inviting me for video lecture, conference, saying we are not going to accept that. This is wrong and this is not the way forward. I want to thank them, and I want to thank all the people also who are here and not here, but also these people who did not agree with me, who have read and say, no, we don't agree, but still said the decision of the American, the Bush administration was wrong. I want to thank them because for me, for now and for the future, these are the people showing the dignity of the country. We disagree, but you should come. You should be able to speak, and you should be able to say what you have to say. So thank you for this support, and thank you for being here. In the room here this evening, there are also people that I want just to mention. So many, but I don't have time. But there is with me Mona Ali, who is my assistant here, without whom it would have been impossible for me to do the work I have been doing. So thank you for your support from the very beginning. And our journey started 10 years ago when I came here in the States. Cynthia Reed, she's here, and she's my publisher. And once again, for your trust and your company during this last years, thank you so much for being here, you and your husband. And I just heard that one of my friends also who was supportive from the very beginning, Benjamin Barber, is here. So once again, thank you. And I have so many other people to thank, but let me come to the point of our discussion here this evening. It's mainly what we are talking about, it's mainly about secularism, Islam, and democracy, and it's our situation in the West. A few years ago, when I started to think about our presence in Europe and in the West, I stopped speaking about Muslims in Europe and Muslims in the West by saying we are European Muslims, we are Western Muslims, and it's completely different. The difference is that we are not here in a host country. We are at home, and Islam is a Western religion. Why? Because we have citizens in Europe, citizens in the States, citizens in Canada. They are citizens, they live as citizens, they abide by the law, and they are making it the reality of our time. So this is the starting point of a mindset that we have to change. And I got reactions coming from Muslims saying, no, 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 you have to speak about Muslims in Europe. I say, no, I'm European by culture, Swiss by nationality, and Muslim by religion, and all this is fine. There is no contradiction. So the point for me, the starting point of our discussion is this, and not only to rely on perceptions, because very often, just after September 11th in this country, you had President Bush speaking about the Muslims in a way which was us versus them. They don't like our values. He was speaking about the extremists, but implicitly the message that we got is there is a problem with Muslims. And still what we have now in our European countries, as well as here, it's still, when we speak about Muslims, it's as if we don't speak about true Americans, true Europeans. There are still the other within. the outsider with it. So I would say that this is the starting point of our discussion. So how can we change the mindset is to go from perceptions to facts and figures. And what we have now is millions of Western Muslims are getting the 3 L's that I'm mentioning in the last book, What I Believe. The first one is that they abide by the law. So they don't have a problem with the secular system. If we understand the secular system is not against religion, is to make it clear that we are distinguishing power and authorities. That the state, the power of the state is something which has nothing to do with the power of the authority of religion. The private sphere is where we decide for ourselves, so we don't have a problem with this as Muslim citizens. We abide by the law, and this is the first L. The second L, which is everywhere now in all the European and the Western countries, and this is the case here in the States, is that we speak the language of the country, and there is no problem with this. So look at what is happening with the second, third, and onward generations now. They are American, they are European, and they speak English, German, French, as all the others. They are citizens of their country, abiding by the law, speaking the language. And then there is something which is quite important, and this is the starting point also of our discussion. This is where I got the problem which pushed an administration to ban me from the country, is that we are loyal to our country and loyal to our values. What does it mean to be loyal? It means that I'm loyal to my country when I'm a committed citizen. And when I'm a committed citizen means that when I agree with my government, I'm going to support it. But when I disagree in the name of my free citizenship, in the name of my freedom of speech, I should be able to say that's wrong. I should be able, for example, to say that to go to Iraq is wrong. I should be able, for example, to be involved in anything which has to do with social injustices or anything which has to do with discrimination, racism, unemployment, and international issues. This is the only way to be loyal as a citizen, is to be critically, constructively loyal. And the great majority, and it's huge, if you speak with all the governments around Europe and in the West, they will say, we don't have a problem with the great majority of the Muslim citizens. So they abide by the law, they are loyal, and they speak the language. So this is something which is quite important for us. And this is why I'm speaking about the post-integration process, saying now it's time not to speak about integrating or being integrated, it's to speak about contribution. What do you give to your country? In which way you are providing something? Which is the step forward? Which is you, when you give something, the people are not asking where do you come from. They want to know where we are going together. So this is what is happening now. And look at what is happening with the citizens in America, in Canada, and in Europe. If you look at facts and figures and what they are saying, they feel that they are Europeans. The perception is, oh, they want mosques not to integrate. It's exactly the opposite. They want mosques, they want organization, they want institutions, in fact, to be really Europeans, really Americans and Canadians. So the point is that if we rely on facts and figures and we listen to the people, they feel at home, and more young generation, young Muslims and new generations are showing or paving the way towards this reality of contributing. And not only this is a reality, but if you also look at facts and figures, you will see that the driving force is very often women. Muslim women who are paving the road, who are involved in the process, through education, through their critical thinking and their presence, saying exactly the opposite of when you look at the way they dress, you may think that they are oppressed. But if you listen to what they think and the way they are involved in the Muslim communities now, you are just getting a sense that there is a new leadership, that there is empowerment here, and we have to respect this. And this is what I have been promoting for the last 20 years. Let me add something which is quite important for all of us. That if you ask someone, what are you first? Are you first an American or are you first a Muslim? Let me start by saying it's a silly question. I don't want to answer a silly question. I have multiple identities. If you ask me about me when I'm going to vote, I'm a Swiss. If you ask me who I am when I'm dealing with my own death, I'm a Muslim. Because this is where I'm putting the meaning of my life. If you are asking me what is my origin, I'm an Egyptian by origin. So I have multiple identities. And mind you, don't reduce yourself to a specific exclusive identity. You know what it means? That you are becoming a poor mind if you only think through an exclusive identity. We all have multiple identities, and the priority could change depending on the environment and what we are doing.